a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And thank you so much for spending some time with us here today on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We greatly appreciate it. And it really makes my day when we get those calls. I get a bunch of calls and text messages from you guys calling in, finding out more about your real estate and credit and finance, or maybe you need a good referral to an attorney, title company, and beyond. You know, we have the 80 categories of consumer advocate content and advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we are a top 100 ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay as well. So we keep you in tune with the market, what's happening out there, kind of that consumer advocate, as we say on the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. That's always been our mantra. Over 10 years on air here at the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we take great pride in delivering the timely truths around all of these different areas of business and finance that we help you with here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We've got Jennie Restrepo in the house, Insured Title Agency. She is a wealth of information in the real estate market. We're going to touch base with her. Also, attorney Millie Athanison coming back on the show here as well in the second half of the program. I want to invite you to our this is an ongoing third Thursday event that we host for not only our audience, we want you to come out and join us and meet with us. And I'm so grateful that many of you did and come out and hang out with us on Thursday, April 18th, 6 o'clock. Not only our audience, but also our radio personalities, our expert contributors, business partners, show partners, real estate team, and more will be there. So come on and enjoy some time, some fellowship with us over at Brio Tuscan Grill. That's the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Third Thursday event. It's every month. We're rolling it every day, every month this year. Third Thursday, April 18th is the third Thursday, 6 p.m. over at 2223 Northwest Shore Boulevard. That's Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza Mall. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance, awesome management staff. We had a great interview with Joey last week. He's the general manager at Brio. We talked about supply chain and the restaurant industry as a whole. Chef Oscar Ramirez as well, back in the kitchen preparing these awesome meals. Delicious, tasty meals, fresh from scratch, Tuscan-inspired recipes. So Brio Tuscan Grill, Thursday, April 18th, 6 o'clock. We would love to see you there. Save the date. All right, so a couple of hot listings here. You know, we always feature our real estate properties live on air. It's part of our strategy where we help sellers maximize the exposure and the profit on the sale of their real estate. One of the things we do that differentiates us from all of the other real estate companies out there is we have a syndicated radio and TV show, daily show, that airs at 4 o'clock drive time right here on Salem Media's flagship station. We've got a weekend show as well, 102.5 The Bone. We get bonus plays on the weekend as well, so you can tune in on Sundays and Saturdays and hear our show still. But we're featuring our listings live on air, and my highest duty to my sellers, my fiduciary duty capacity to my sellers as a top listing agent in Tampa Bay is to help them maximize the exposure, which leads to maximum profits in a shorter marketing period. Because we know days on market are enemy to a home's value. So with that said, 5642 Egrets Place, Newport Richey, beautiful property, Mediterranean Palace right here in Tampa Bay. This is a gorgeous home. I love this home. It's 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, almost 3,000 square feet, quarter-acre lot. You have a heated pool with a waterfall surrounded by beautiful pavers. And this is a Mediterranean Palace right here in Tampa Bay in a gated community. You got water views across the street, bay access there with the boats that have access over across the way there. Laundry room, you have elevator in the house, gourmet kitchen with a center island featuring sink and wine refrigerator, upgraded stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, wood cabinets, and more at 5642 Egrets Place, Newport Richey, Florida. Another one of our beautiful real estate listings. Taking you over to Pinellas County now on the Gulf Boulevard, 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F. This one's in Indian Shores, right on the beach. Have you ever wanted to own your own beach home, beach property? Here it is, 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2,000 square feet, beachfront condo in Indian Shores. And what I love about this property is, of course, it's updated. It looks great. It's beautiful on the inside as well. You got 3 balconies, and you've got views of the Intercoastal Waterway, Tom Stewart Causeway. And if you look out to the left, you got, of course, views of the Sugar Sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of beautiful Pinellas County. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Somewhere
right, Jennie Restrepo, welcome back in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Always great having you in studio and talking about real estate and exploring these different ideas. And right now, topical, some of the most things that are most topical, that is affordability, lack of inventory. Insurance is always in the top three as well as far as the real estate categories. What are you thinking? What are you seeing out there?
All of the above.
That's right.
So, yes, I heard on the news that there are 300,000 more drivers on the roads here in Tampa Bay this year versus last year.
Oh, that's scary.
I know. And that new construction, we can't build houses fast enough to accommodate the number of people that are moving here to Florida. So how do you handle that, and how does that affect affordability? Well, it's definitely affecting affordability because you have people coming from outside of our state, different markets, different job markets with remote jobs. And their idea of affordability may be different than ours. So I do know that the state, the local government, everyone is paying attention to that. The legislative session here in Florida just wrapped up about a month ago. And you can bet that home ownership needs and affordability were top on the list of priorities, especially for Florida realtors in speaking to our elected officials. And so we do have the confirmation that Hometown Heroes will continue to receive funding. So that's a very wide-reaching down payment assistance program. And then regarding affordability, I was able to attend a symposium with the economic development committees for Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, City of Tampa, and some exciting things are coming out of that, which is that where the drive-in movie theater was located off of Hillsborough Avenue here in Tampa.
I remember that.
They are now going to be building affordable housing there, so that project is underway. And the EDC for Tampa has suggested another project also located in East Tampa, and it's going to have affordable housing plus like a maker space and a space where people can take certifications and higher education classes to achieve higher employment opportunities.
Wow, that's awesome. It's interesting to think about that shift when you mentioned the old, because I've been on East Hillsborough Avenue traveling east there, and if you look on the north side of the road to the left there, you're looking at the old drive-in theater,
yes.
Right? So just think about how we've come over these last 50 years in the United States, right? And just in general speaking, people aren't driving out to watch movies anymore. They're watching them right in their living room, streaming them up, watching some, by the way, a really good series, if you haven't seen it, coming off of Easter weekend, is The Chosen. Really cool. It shows, of course, Jesus with his disciples, and I enjoyed that. I think I'm on the last episode now, but really good. The stories of turning the water into wine and all that good stuff, and raising the dead, but yeah. So we're streaming at home versus driving in. So the decision then to develop affordable housing makes a lot of sense, especially with that area too.
Absolutely. Have you heard, do you know what CRA stands for?
Yes, because I actually wrote that down. The Community Redevelopment Association, something like that. Area.
Yes. East Tampa is one that has been designated by the City of Tampa. West Tampa, so kind of that central corridor by Howard Armenia, is another CRA. I just drove by a sign saying that right along that part of Howard Avenue, they're doing some refurbishing and updating. So basically, these are areas of town where the local government has decided to reinvest money into the community and into creating new things. So just like you said, we're not doing things the same way as we used to. So unfortunately, the drive-in movie theater is no longer. Also, many people are working from home, so we don't need as much office space.
Right.
So what are we doing with this stale office space? Well, part of the Live Local Act, which passed in the previous year's legislative session, is an incentive program for developers to redevelop unused office space into affordable housing options.
Great idea.
And so, obviously, developers are going to do things where that's going to make them money, of course, and we believe in supporting private business, but why not incentivize them towards offering something that can benefit more homeownership opportunities and more housing opportunities for our community? So that's definitely something that's happening. So looking at some of these underutilized spaces, Pinellas County is also really focusing on that. They have a lot of, let's say, office space or industrial space that is aged, and so they have programs where they're reinvesting in updating these spaces, because sometimes the bay doors aren't tall enough, or the electrical supply to the building no longer meets the needs of newer type businesses. And so Pinellas County is focusing on how can we update these buildings in order to attract these newer businesses and still meet the needs of what these businesses are looking for.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that idea. You're repurposing offices, which people are not working in the office anymore, so that makes a lot of sense. You're kind of checking that box of where the demand is moving from and to. So yeah, I love these ideas, and it's good to see that our local counties looking at that, and the cities are allocating funds to that as well. I was talking with Jared Parker as well. He's an economist here locally, and we were kind of talking about that as well. And he gets into studies. He does a lot of these different studies where it's based on the different types of economic impacts, not only from the taxation, but the job implications, the traffic studies. But he looked into the rent rolls as well, because I think it was over in Orlando, one of the municipalities had talked to his firm about doing a rent roll. And you hear that, not rent roll, a rent study, because they wanted to put in place the rent caps, these caps for rents. So the study ended up coming out and showing that no, it's not a good idea. Whenever you have government stepping in and trying to dictate and let free markets, try to cap what they could charge as far as rents, the developers would just say no, we're not going to invest in that. We're not going to spend our assets, our capital. It's what capitalism is. Now, I do think in some places government needs to get involved, whereas you had BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, some of these big, huge hedge funds, these different groups coming in and buying up a lot of single-family homes, competing with first-time buyers, competing with veterans, and that's where we used to see, and it needs to be something like we used to have back in 08, 09, when there was a surplus of inventory and all these investors were gobbling up stuff. Remember, it used to be, I think, 14 days or 30 days before a investor could make an offer. They'd had to wait for that initial 2 or 3 month or week period to allow owner occupants make the offers.
So on government-owned properties, I believe that still is the case. For example, if something is offered as a bank-owned property and it's been repossessed by HUD, then there is still that waiting period because they do prioritize owner occupants over non-owner occupants. But there's other programs. So I mentioned the CRA in East Tampa, and it's not just limited to Hillsborough County. So if you're looking at areas in Pinellas County or Pasco County, take a look, do a Google search, because if you participate in a home buyer program, for example, and I'll give this example of City of Tampa, not because I'm biased, but because it's top of mind, is the City of Tampa offers a first-time home buyer seminar. It is an 8-hour commitment of your time. However, they go over everything. I had a chance to listen in on what they were going over, and it really does boost consumer confidence. But why else would you do this? Yep. Because then you are entitled to participate in all of the down payment assistance programs offered through the city. And if you are looking to relocate to one of these community redevelopment areas, there are some programs that are offering up to $60,000 in down payment and closing cost assistance, because this is how they're stepping in and incentivizing owner occupants. Right. This is how they're helping to promote owner occupant opportunities over investor opportunities. Right. And there is another program within the City of Tampa called DARE, which is Dare to Own the Dream. And what happened here is that the city actually offered lots that they had taken ownership of to developers to build brand new construction homes, with the caveat that those homes would have to be offered at an affordable housing price to first-time home buyers that have gone through the program with the City of Tampa. Nice. So they're taking undeveloped land, putting a brand new construction, offering it at an affordable price, and making it exclusively offered to owner occupants only.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. Those are some really good, city. Is that city doing that? Tampa?
So that program, the DARE, is specific to the City of Tampa. So that means the property must be located within the city limits of Tampa. Yep. But Tampa and Hillsborough County are not the only ones that are promoting great owner-occupant experiences. Yeah. You just have to take a look or call into the show, and Brandon, one of his team members, can help navigate you through the process of what would be the best fit for you.
I mean, think about that. $60,000 of free down payment assistance dollars coming toward down payment or closing costs.
Yes.
So these are great programs. These are life-changing ideas and opportunities. And Jennie, thanks for bringing that to the show today. Jennie Restrepo here in studio with me. She's representing Insured Title Agency, and I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, and the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We're going to take a quick break, come back more with some of these ideas, life-changing ideas. I mean, $60,000 towards down payment for someone you know or love, and it's the classes are relatively free classes, easy to do, and it makes a lot of sense to do that. So we're going to come back here with Jennie Restrepo on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
I want to give a special thanks to Satellite Phone Store. They just hooked me up with this beautiful satellite phone, and it's a gorgeous phone. It's a great device. It's a safety device as well. Think about it. If you're out on the boat 40, 50 miles out, maybe you're going hunting or you're going hiking in the woods somewhere, you run out of cell phone service, or who knows, maybe a possible terrorist attack. It's not like our politicians aren't entrenched in all this stuff going on overseas, all over the place, all over the world. Could be a terrorist attack. They could attack the power grid. They could attack the cell phones. Who knows what they're going to attack next. Sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite, sat123.com/REQB, like real estate quarterback.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here in studio with Jennie Restrepo, Insured Title Agency, talking real estate, Pinellas County, Pasco, Hillsborough, Manatee, all the great counties around the Tampa Bay market area here coming up. We're going to jump into some market stats, talk about the new properties hitting the market, the record number of price improvements. We call it a price improvement as the real estate agent. And on the stat sheet, it says price decreases. So there's a record number of price decreases happening right now, even though there's low inventory. So kind of an interesting dichotomy there when you look at the real estate statistics and what's happening here in Tampa Bay. Interest rates, insurance rates all come into play with that. But we've got a kind of a cool property here at 6901 46th Avenue. This is a mixed-use residential commercial place, 6901 46th Avenue North. We just did a price improvement here on this beautiful property. You have a commercial up front. You have commercial use, blacktop, plenty of room to park trucks or park inventory. Could be a great little car dealership or something like that. There's plenty of room to park cars or maybe some RVs, motorcycles there. And then in the back, you could have your on-site manager. You have a single-family home in the back there. So two separate buildings on a corner lot. You have an office building with a bathroom up front. You have in the back also a living area, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1 car garage, just under 1,000 square feet, outdoor space, suitable for RV, boat, and truck storage there as well. Great income opportunity, potential for both businesses and residential. 6901 46th Avenue North, St. Petersburg, Florida. Another one of our great property listings here in Tampa Bay. 2107 Palma Sola Boulevard. This is Unit 94 in Bradenton. Now, what we have here is another great opportunity in Manatee County. Manatee County property for sale. Owners motivated here at 2107 Palma Sola Boulevard, unit number 94. So you do have some type of a HOA fee there. It's going to be involved. But you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. All right, we got Jennie Restrepo in the house. We're talking real estate here, and when you look at the real estate stats, let's start with Pinellas County. Just so this was last week, you had 472 new listings hit the market, 820 price deductions, price decreases, and the median sales price, sold price, $410,000 for Pinellas County. Jennie,
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think that we obviously have come off of just a very hot, booming real estate market with upward trends. And so in sellers' minds, we're still there. And I think some of these decreases are not necessarily, consumers shouldn't consider it a loss in value. It's just a readjustment to what today's market is, and that it's not necessarily $1 million house anymore. So you might have to go out at $900,000.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking at a couple of economists here. Lawrence Young, he's the chief economist for the Realtor Association, National Realtors. He says home prices will surge if mortgage rates go below 6% and inventories barely grow. Both scenarios seem unlikely because I don't think the Fed's going to be reducing rates. I don't see that happening with the way that inflation's kind of been sticking around, hanging around. And then it's also interesting because you have the National Association of Home Builders, Wells Fargo Housing Market Index, HMI, was released this morning in March. According to HMI, home builder confidence climbed 3 points to 51, which marks the fourth month-over-month increase, the highest reading since July 23. Looking at the components, 2 components are above 50. But it's interesting because he gets into tailwinds. So what are some of the tailwinds, meaning push? You have low existing home inventory forcing potential buyers to new construction. That's especially if you want to get certain things, certain aspects of a home that you're looking for. Mortgage rates below their cycle highs, helping with housing affordability. Still, I think mortgage rates are still a little bit higher than we want them. But it's still reasonable compared to, even just the last 10, 15 years. Federal Reserve indicating multiple interest rate cuts in 2024. Again, I think that's been pushed to the end of 24. We'll see what happens. And then headwinds, you have scarcity of labor among all trades and an aging workforce, limited lot availability. So again, you're not much Mother Earth that's available to be built on.
Yes.
Expected rise in building material prices, activity increases this year, restricted building codes, increasing costs to build. So it's interesting when you look at all the different dynamics, how that comes together.
Well, I think if we're quoting someone from the National Association of Realtors, we do have some advantages here in Tampa Bay because we still have some land. You may be farther away from the beaches than you were before, but we can be growing inward. And as far as where the prices are in the inventory, Florida is still a big in-migration state, so people are moving here from out of state, and they just can't build them fast enough.
Right.
Certainly the trades are being affected because we've now hit that point where we need to start telling all the kids in school that there's other things after high school than college.
Absolutely.
For some still. But there's so many amazing trades, including our profession. You can become a title agent. You can become a real estate agent straight out of high school.
Yep.
You could even intern while you're in high school and kind of learn a little bit about the business. I know all of us that have kids, they've been on showings and they've been to closings, and so they kind of know their way. Exactly. Why not? My daughter's a super cute showing assistant.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing to think about in this market is what do you need, and focus on what you need for yourself and for your family. If you need to buy a house today because you're renting, that rent is not building you wealth or equity. That rent is building your landlord's wealth.
Yep.
So if you need to buy a house and that's what you need for you, don't wait for the headlines to change. I've heard so many lenders say, listen, marry the house, date the rate. Mm-hmm. Get the house in this market when Brandon's saying record decreases in listing prices and seller expectations.
Yep.
Get the house now, and if the Fed lowers the rate, refinance.
Yeah, and you'll be surprised at how much sellers are willing to negotiate, because there's a certain amount of sellers that just they're aging and they want to move down to a smaller home or get out of that second-story master. There's a lot of reasons why people are making moves. Plus, don't forget, Jennie mentioned the down payment assistance programs, up to $60,000 available for you. Reach out to the show hotline. We'll let you know more about it. 727-263-3707. Call or text $60,000, up to $60,000 down payment assistance dollars. 727-263-3707. Jennie Restrepo, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming in, and great content today, too.
Thank you. Hit us up on all the socials at Insured Title Agency for all of this news and more.
At Insured Agency. Title Agency.
Yes, Insured Title Agency with an I.
That's right. And consumerqb.com, you can see links there to all of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com. Coming back, we're going to be talking with attorney Millie Athanason. She covers a lot of different areas of law, so find out more about that coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show.